Today's presentation is gonna be a bit different. I'm literally gonna do a presentation for you guys to see because this is something that you will use in a board meeting or something like that. So introducing this display here, which is something different by Samsung. It is the Flip Pro WM55B. Do not be confused by the Samsung Galaxy Flip series of smartphones because this is an entirely different department within Samsung. So it is an interactive display signage. They're calling it as signage actually. And in this video, we're gonna go through some of my thoughts about using this thing, how it is actually going to help you in your working environment or maybe in your classroom as well. And also, I do have a few complaints about this product. So let's begin. So this product here is available in a total of 3 different sizes: 55-inch, 65-inch, and also 75-inch. It is actually in line with their TV sizes as well, so nothing much to talk about here. We just skip on to the next slide. And all the things shown here are mostly separated, but they are sold in a bundle. So we have the stand, which is with this model number. It is actually quite well designed, and the installation process is a bit difficult because we did encounter some issues getting it out. Firstly, it is very heavy, and since this is more like an enterprise product, mostly you will get Samsung's technician to install it for you, but we decided to install ourselves to actually get a feel of how the installation process is supposed to be. Simply because of its size, it's actually quite daunting, especially the bottom there, which is where a big piece of metal is placed so that it can drag down the center of gravity, and this thing is very, very solid. So it also will require you proper planning when you're gonna install this product because the sequence is important. What we encountered is actually we looped the wire outside, and now there's just, the back panel is actually on the floor. We cannot install it because of the cable. We will also need to connect all of the cables, route all of the cables first before we actually put the display onto the stand. I think that this kind of installation process could have been better because once we install everything, we cannot actually access all of the panels, all of the ports at the back of this display. I think that the cable management on this display could have been better, especially on the stand, because currently if you don't loop everything through, or if you want to change cable in the future, then you have to take out the entire display, change the cable, and remember to route all your new cables before reinstalling everything. It's just daunting, especially since this is only the 55-inch. Just imagine if this is a 65 or 85-inch version. So back to the ports of this display, we do actually have quite a lot of them, and like what we mentioned earlier, you will have to plug in all of the ports before actually mounting this display. So you will have to know what you are going to use in the future. And then if you don't route all of those cables, then never mind, because this display also supports Apple AirPlay 2 and also wireless display from your Windows PCs or phones as well. And there's also one more optional accessory that is sold by Samsung, which is this thing at the bottom here. They're calling this the connectivity tray, and it kind of reminds me of the Nintendo 64DD expansion pack where you slot in a literal cartridge on top of the console to boost its performance. But this connectivity tray is not actually a tray, it just gives us more ports here so that we can easily plug and play all of the ports that you need to use, like for example HDMI and whatnot. Within this package, we also get 2 styluses. Both of them are passive. Samsung claims on their website that this is a 2046 pressure level pen stylus, but it doesn't actually work that way. So I'm not sure where they get the number from. If I check all of the Samsung videos that they have, they did say 2046 as well, but they don't actually show it. So these 2 styluses, you can snap it to either the top or the right side of the display, and it holds on really nicely. And you can also draw up to 4 styluses at once on the display together at the same time, but since we only got 2 styluses, we'll use that. And surprisingly, I also found out that we can use the Galaxy S22 Ultra's S Pen to draw on this display. So I think they do share some tech, but not all of it. One of my major complaints is that where do we put our stuff? Because as you can see here, this thing is called the connectivity tray, but then you don't actually have any tray or mini desk or table behind the display for us to put our laptop or phones. That means all of the cable will be super ugly, dangling either from the back or the front, and your laptop will have to place somewhere else. One of the reasons why is mostly because this display can be rotated 90 degrees and it is surprisingly smooth and steady if you want to just do it like this. So they cannot put a table at the front, but they can definitely put one table at the back. Now we'll talk about the digital whiteboard portion of this display. When you first start it up, you will be presented directly the whiteboard itself. So of course that whiteboard is very suitable for classroom users, and using the stylus, you can use this as a pen or in brush modes, and they also have mathematical tools for you to draw circles, triangles, protractor for you to measure angles and whatnot. These are fantastic tools for education. You can also import background templates. For example, you can import a calendar and then you can start drawing on top of the calendar for you to plan your content for the entire month or something like that. Or you can also have a checklist so that you can go through all of your checklists on to-do tasks and whatnot. But you can also import your own templates into this display here and then start drawing on top of your template. This feature will be very important for cases like prototyping your garments, because you can import a blank shirt or something like that and then start drawing colors on top of it just to get a feel of how that apparel will look. And once you've done drawing, you can actually export your drawing using multiple methods, but I truly just prefer plugging in a USB drive here and save it out. You can also save it to your online account, Office 365 and whatnot, so it's entirely up to you. Now back to the connectivity tray for a moment. The ports that we have here is a USB 2.0 Type A port that I'm using, and then HDMI port for your PC, and then one USB 2.0 Type B port for touch display. Now, if you connect both the HDMI and USB Type B to your PC, then you can use this display as a touchscreen to control your computer. If not, you can also connect the USB Type-C port to your computer or phone to do the exact same functionality as these two cables. Technically, it's just combining both of them into one elegant solution. The connectivity tray for the USB-C port, it also will provide 15 watts of charging, but it won't be enough for your laptop, especially if your laptop is those high-powered ones like a gaming laptop or whatever. Actually 15 watts, it will just prevent the laptop from dying too quickly. It won't actually charge your laptop, but it's still better than nothing. And if you combine the USB Type-C's display and touch functionality from this port, connect it to your Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, for example, you can do remote presentations by using the S Pen clicker to go to the next slide, previous slide, and whatnot. However, we did encounter a bug from the Office 365 app. It just shows a black screen and I have no idea why. It happened on both phones, Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 and also the S22 Ultra. So I got some comments about this Samsung Flip Pro. I gotta say that the hardware of this display is actually excellent. However, it does need a tray for us to put stuff nearby because I'm presenting here. I won't go to the desk and come back frequently. And then maybe you will need a remote control as well, because currently I am using PDF viewer from this display through the USB drive. So if I want to go to the next slide, I will have to physically swipe on the screen. Having a remote to do that will be very beneficial, especially if I got those, what's that thing called again, laser pointer? Yeah. Presenter pointer thing. That would be very useful. And then currently, if you want to exit whatever menu that you're in, you will always have to press this button here, and then this pop-up menu will be your control. Yeah, having a remote control will be a lot better. And The software of this thing is not really that intuitive. It took us quite a while to learn it through, but once we learn it, then I think it's actually quite okay. And then one more feature that it has is called Smart View, where you can connect multiple devices to this display, and then the host, me, can select which display to actually be maximized on the screen. I think we can select like a few displays at once, so who knows, maybe it's good for meetings if you want to brainstorm ideas and whatnot. A few more things to talk about the stylus, like what we mentioned earlier. 2048 sensing levels is something that I cannot prove to you because this stylus does not have a spring and it does not go in if you press harder like the S Pens. And palm rejection is also non-existent. If you write on this whiteboard with my palm sitting on the display, it doesn't work. And then I also want to comment about the performance. It lags quite a lot. Selecting pages, if I start to draw on the whiteboard, because you have different pages, selecting and jumping between pages will take some time. Saving the role will also take some time. And overall, there's just a lot of waiting and I don't know why. So finally, the price of this thing. Since this product is a B2B product, business to business, yeah, the price is very high. There's one retailer selling it for 10,699 ringgit for this exact bundle. The display, the stand, and also the connectivity tray. So I can't judge for you if this price is good or not. If you can use it in your office, you want to, like what he mentioned, digitalize what you do in the office, then yes, it's a particularly good product for that purpose because you can connect multiple devices at once, jump between each screen to look at brainstorming ideas or maybe meeting minutes, compare notes. For classrooms, if you've got a challenge between a few students to do a math question, see who can solve it faster, you can display a few of the screens here, then you can have them compete for everyone else to see. And you can also not get this stand and get a wall mount. However, I have to point it out that if you're gonna get this stand, you cannot actually tilt the display. So you can only rotate it, and that's the only thing that you can do. Currently, I do think that the display is a bit too high from the table level because we do have a meeting table in front of us. And angle, this is way too slanted. So that's it. That's what I have to share with you about the Samsung Flip Pro WM55B. Interesting product to be honest. Yeah, it's just interesting. But certain aspects of it can be improved.